It was October 1992 when 8-year-old twins, Liam and Noah Miller, vanished without a trace from the playground of Riverside Elementary School. For more than 3 decades, their names appeared on missing children posters, their faces aging artificially through police sketches. For their family, the years were filled with questions that seemed destined never to be answered, until last month when a Polaroid photograph surfaced in a dusty antique shop. A picture dated 2019, showing 2 men unmistakably identical to the twins, alive and grown. This story is not only about their disappearance, but about how a single photograph reignited one of Ohio's most haunting mysteries. Stay with me as we unfold a journey of grief, unanswered prayers, chilling discoveries, and perhaps the possibility of closure. October 12, 1992. It was a Tuesday afternoon in the small town of Riverside, Ohio. The autumn air carried the crisp scent of fallen leaves, and the playground at Riverside Elementary echoed with laughter and squeals as children enjoyed their lunch recess. Among them were the Miller twins, Liam and Noah, 2 inseparable boys with matching brown hair, vivid blue eyes, and even the same scar etched across their left hands, the result of a backyard accident years earlier. Sandra Martinez, their homeroom teacher, remembers that day vividly. The twins were always together. If you saw one, you could bet the other was nearby. That afternoon, I saw them on the swings, pushing each other, laughing. Nothing seemed unusual. They were happy. The recess bell rang at 1:15 p.m., signaling students to return to class. Children rushed inside, except for Liam and Noah. At first, Miss Martinez thought perhaps they had stopped by the restroom. She waited, gave them a few minutes. But as the classroom settled and the minutes ticked by, unease began to gnaw at her. After 10 minutes, she stepped outside to check the playground. Empty. No sign of the twins. By 1:30, the principal was notified. The school was combed thoroughly, every hallway, bathroom, and corner. Teachers and staff spread out across the yard, calling their names. But it was as if the boys had evaporated. At 2:30, their parents were called. Rebecca Miller, their mother, rushed from her job at the library. Michael Miller, their father, left his construction site, covered in dust and fear. Rebecca's cries echoed across the school hallways. "Where are my babies? They never leave each other's side. Please, find them." At 3 p.m., local police were alerted. Detective James Foster, a seasoned officer with a reputation for persistence, was assigned the case. His words to reporters were grim. "The first hours are critical, and when 2 children disappear together, it almost always points to abduction." The Miller family's nightmare had begun. The disappearance of Liam and Noah Miller quickly grew into one of the largest child search operations in Ohio's history. Within hours, over 150 volunteers scoured fields, creeks, and wooded areas. Helicopters swept overhead. Trained dogs sniffed for trails, but nothing. No backpacks, no shoes, no sign of struggle. Riverside Elementary did have security cameras, but in 1992, their grainy black and white images provided little help. The only working camera pointed at the main entrance, and there was no clear footage showing the boys leaving the grounds. Then came the first potential lead, a neighbor, Mrs. Eleanor Hatch, who lived across from the school. She recalled seeing a blue van parked unusually close to the entrance around the time of recess. "It stood out," she said later. "I'd never seen it before, but I couldn't catch the plate number." Police launched a statewide search for suspicious blue vans. Thousands were checked, from delivery vehicles to family minivans. Each was cleared. The lead fizzled out. Detectives turned their focus inward, on family, friends, neighbors. Every relative was questioned. Michael Miller's co-workers, Rebecca's sister Sarah, even close neighbors were investigated. But no motive surfaced. No enemy, no debts, no custody disputes. Nothing. Detective Foster grew increasingly unsettled. The twins' bond was unusual. They protected each other. If someone tried to separate them, they would resist. That could be both a strength and a danger. After 3 agonizing weeks, the trail ran cold. Volunteers went home, the searchlights dimmed, and the Miller case was filed under open, unresolved. But for the family, the silence was unbearable. For the Millers, life fractured into before and after. Every October, Rebecca lit candles and baked a cake for the twins' birthday. The small flames flickered against empty chairs. At Christmas, she wrapped gifts with trembling hands, sliding them under the tree labeled for Liam and Noah. "They'll come home," she would whisper. A mother knows when her children are alive. Michael, her husband, coped differently, burying himself in work, though grief gnawed at his heart. In 2018, he collapsed at a construction site from a fatal heart attack. His last words to Rebecca were whispered through tears, "Find our boys." Rebecca carried that vow alone until 2020, when desperation led her to hire private investigator Maria Santos. Using her last savings, Rebecca begged her to re-examine everything. Maria discovered something disturbing in the old files. The same week Liam and Noah vanished, 3 other children in Ohio, ages 8 to 10, also disappeared. Different towns, different circumstances, but eerily similar timing. This could have been serial abductions, Maria suggested, but proving it nearly 3 decades later was impossible. Rebecca clung to hope until her own death in 2023 at age 61. Her final words were haunting. "I can't leave until I see Liam and Noah again." The torch passed to Sarah Miller, the twins' aunt, who swore she would never stop searching. Then came March 2024. In Columbus, the estate of 89-year-old Walter Krieg was being settled after his death. Krieg, a lifelong bachelor, had no children or spouse. As his home was cleared, workers stumbled upon boxes of photo albums in the basement, albums filled with children he did not seem to be related to. The albums were sold to a local antique shop. Weeks later, a customer named Jennifer Walsh, a true crime enthusiast who followed missing children cases, leafed through one of the albums. Her eyes froze. 2 men stared back at her from a Polaroid, taken outdoors in a rural setting. They were in their 30s, but Jennifer's stomach clenched in recognition. Identical twins, same faces, same scar on the left hands. Her heart pounded as she whispered, "Oh my God, it's Liam and Noah." She dialed the police immediately. The photograph was rushed to Columbus Police Headquarters. Detective Lisa Chen took charge, consulting with retired Detective Foster, now in his 70s. When Foster laid eyes on the picture, tears streamed down his face. "I have searched for them for 31 years. That is Liam and Noah, no doubt in my mind." Forensic testing confirmed the photo's authenticity. It was a genuine Polaroid, dated 2019. No digital manipulation. The men matched the twins' DNA-based age progression with 99% certainty. The background suggested rural land outside Ohio. But the most chilling detail was not the faces. It was the back of the photograph. In shaky handwriting, it read, "Aunt Sarah, we're okay. Walter took care of us, but now we're grown and free. We love you, but we're not coming back. L and N." When Sarah Miller read those words, she collapsed. "They're alive," she sobbed. "But why? Why wouldn't they come home?" Investigators dove into Walter Krieg's past. What they found was horrifying. Krieg had spent decades volunteering at children's homes and youth programs. Records showed repeated proximity to unsolved missing child cases. In his basement, officers uncovered a hidden room. Inside were belongings of at least 15 children, toys, clothing, school IDs. Among them, Liam and Noah's school badges. But the most shocking discovery was another Polaroid. Dated 2023, it showed Liam and Noah with a girl about 12 years old. Her wary smile and posture suggested recent captivity. The writing on the back read, "We met Emily. She's like us, Walter's child. Now we live together." Iki Binyermi Uch cross-checking databases, the girl was identified. Emily Carter, missing from Cincinnati in 2018 at age 7. The scope of the case had just exploded. The FBI swiftly took control. The Miller twins case, once considered cold, was now one of the nation's top priorities. Agents believe Liam and Noah, now 39, and Emily, now 13, may still be alive and living in seclusion. Satellite analysis of the Polaroids suggested remote farmland in Ohio, Kentucky, or Indiana. Psychologists offered insight. "It's possible the twins developed Stockholm Syndrome," explained Dr. Amanda Rivera. Raised under Krieg's control, they may have come to view him as a protector, even after his death. The greater fear was Emily's safety. FBI agent Rachel Torres stated bluntly, "A 13-year-old girl living with 2 men in isolation raises serious concerns. We must locate her immediately." Sarah Miller, now 58, remains resolute. "My nephews are alive. That is a miracle. But they're not free until they're home." especially that little girl. They need to be saved. Over the past 2 months, there have been 3 reported sightings of twin men resembling Liam and Noah across rural Ohio. Each report has launched urgent FBI responses. So far, none have led to a confirmed rescue. What began in 1992 as a heartbreaking disappearance has now become something far larger, an ongoing story of abduction, control, and survival. The Miller twins are not lost children anymore. They are adults, scarred by decades in the shadow of a man who kept them hidden. And Emily Carter, a child still trapped in that shadow, desperately needs to be found. This case reminds us, no missing person story is ever truly closed. Even after 30 years, one photograph can change everything. If you have seen Liam or Noah Miller or Emily Carter, contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. Because sometimes, the faintest clue, a snapshot buried in an old album, can be the spark that brings the missing home. And as for the Miller twins, their story is not over. Not yet.